Welcome in to Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and today it's not so holly, it's not so jolly. Coming off a 30-6 loss to the New York Jets, where it seems like every single player and the water boy got injured at Metlife Stadium. We'll break it all down with the injury news and what the Texans are going to have to do moving forward if they want to get into the big dance, if they want to make the playoffs this season. But before we get started, just after that game yesterday and just everything going on, I'm just a little deflated with all the injuries. So to wish everybody a speedy recovery, I'll break down all the injuries, the major injuries after this Week 14 game. Go ahead and like the video to wish them all a speedy recovery. I know CJ Stroud, a really scary hit that happened yesterday. I'm hoping the best for the young man, our franchise leader, our franchise quarterback. I'm hoping a speedy recovery. I know he's in question for this next week, but regardless of whether he plays or not, I'm just worried about his health and well-being. If you're the same way, if you really hope that these guys get better, if they are back in 100% quicker than ever, go down and like the video right now. And first up, obviously got to talk about him, CJ Stroud. He suffered an injury in the fourth quarter with the Texans down 24-6. I know there's a lot of scrutiny, a lot of people around the Twitter streets that are upset that he was in the game at that point, but I mean, the Texans needed this win, so I don't blame the coaching staff at all for CJ Stroud being in the game at that point. It was a second down that he got injured, so it is what it is. He's currently in concussion protocol, and if you didn't see the play that happened yesterday, basically CJ Stroud got pushed to the ground after letting a throw go, and the back of his head hit the MetLife turf pretty hard and bounced off. So he's going to be in concussion protocol. His status for this week against the Titans is questionable, very questionable. I doubt that he plays. If he does, then I will be very interested to see how the Texans use him this next week and how they protect him, because he can't take another hit like that in back-to-back weeks, or it's not going to be good news for CJ Stroud. Another player injured in the first half of this game, Nico Collins, number one receiver. We lost Tank Dell last week. Nico Collins goes down at the beginning of this week, and this wide receiver room, which had a lot of questions at the beginning of the year, seemed to have answered some of those questions throughout the middle portion of this season, now has many more questions to continue. I mean, Tank Dell on IR, Nico Collins injured. That leaves you with Robert Woods, Noah Brown, John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, and then obviously you have guys from the practice squad who you can bring up, notably Steven Sims. But, I mean, this room is looking very thin. Noah Brown, those games might have been flash in the pans. 5 targets, no receptions for Noah Brown. Robert Woods, he's good, but he's not going to be your wide receiver one. He's not a guy that the other team is planning to defend week in and week out. So Nico Collins, Tank Dell, with those two out, this wide receiver room looks very bleak. I'm hoping that John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson can step up, but it's making me think. I don't want to think too far into the future, but I've seen a bunch of mock drafts come through, and I've seen a lot of them where the Texans take a wide receiver in round 1. Is that what needs to happen? Do the Texans need to draft a wide receiver round 1 in this year? I don't know. You let me know down in the comment section, what position should the Texans draft in round 1 this year? I'm guessing wide receiver, but I wouldn't mind an offensive lineman, maybe a defensive tackle. Those are my top 3 probably, but what say you? This is going to be the pinned comment. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know your answer. Woohoo! I had a little cough there, Producer Chase. I didn't know if I was going to make it through the YouTube ad break, to be honest. But we're here. We're here. Will Anderson Jr., another player injured, which is just like, I know that they say, oh, MetLife, it's safe. We've done the tests and everything. There's some bad juju on that field. That field needs to be taken down. Something needs to happen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles 3 seconds into the first game of the year, and it seems like every team that goes to MetLife Stadium leaves with 3 or 4 key players on the injury list. I mean, Will Anderson, 0 tackles, 2 quarterback hits against the New York Jets this past weekend. But, I mean, losing him, losing CJ Stroud, your top 2 picks from this year's draft, not a good look for MetLife. Not a good look. And you also lose arguably the best player on your defense this season, Blake Cashman, to a hamstring injury. I mean, this MetLife field, I don't know. It's just like a graveyard for these NFL players right now. It just seems like every guy that goes on that field, it doesn't end up well. Blake Cashman, another injury on the list. He's also questionable, along with Will Anderson and Nico Collins for this Sunday up against the Tennessee Titans. And somebody who actually didn't play on the MetLife field, Ka'imi Fairbairn. He's able to come off the injured reserve list, but has yet to come off. Matt Amendola elevated again, and another miss for Matt Amendola. He misses an extra point this time, and we just need Ka'imi back. We need him back so bad. Questionable to return this Sunday against the Titans, but I'll be monitoring that throughout the whole week. That's why you got to subscribe. Stay tuned to the channel for the latest Texans news and rumors, because I'm really going to be looking to see if Fairbairn can come back this week, because Amendola has proved he is a serviceable backup, can, maybe play a couple games for a team here and there throughout his NFL career. Right now, he's not a starting kicker in the NFL. He is not. I'm sorry. Just the misses have piled up. And I know what you're saying. Oh, MetLife, it was rainy. It was bad. Greg Zuerlein for the Jets made all his field goals. He had 3 field goals and extra points that he made, all of them. What's Amendola's excuse? There is none, because he just needs to be better. Now, coming up with that loss, I'm going to be looking at the Texans' path to the playoffs. It gets a little bit trickier. A lot of teams tied, for that last wild card spot, those last 2 wild card spots. I'll break it all down here in just a second, but I got to show some love to the sponsor of today's show. It's Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. And with basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James plus Nico Collins at 10.5 combo, 3 points made and receptions. See, easy as that. This Monday Night Football, I'm going simple. I'm just going football for my picks. And this is what I'm going with. Tua Tagovailoa, I'm going more on 291.5 pass yards. Seems like that'd be an easy more. Devon A-Chain, I just need him to hit pay dirt, either pass, rushing, or receiving touchdowns. Give me more than the 0.5. And Tyjae Spears, more than 20.5 rush yards for the young man out of Tulane. Life's too short to take the less, so take the more. You can use my picks. You can fade my picks. Just do it with Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, it's daily fantasy sports made easy. Now, as we look at the Texans' remaining schedule, you control your own destiny. These last 4 games, all AFC opponents, 3 division games. You got the Titans, Browns, Titans, Colts. It's in your hands. It's really in your hands as we look at the updated AFC playoff picture before the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. You're sitting there at 7-6 with 6 other teams. The Steelers, the Colts, the Texans, the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Buffalo Bills all sitting at 7-6. So that begs the question this. What do you think? Will the Texans make the playoffs? They're in a 4-way tie for the last 2, or 6-way tie for the last 2 spots. They control their own destiny. What say you? Let me know down in the comment section. Without CJ Stroud, I don't think so. He needs to come back, especially with this wide receiver room where it's at right now, the current state of the wide receiver room. Without CJ Stroud playing this weekend up against the Tennessee Titans, I don't see the Texans pulling it out. They really need to win, because I looked at the latest playoff odds with the New York Times playoff simulator this week, week 14. It was a rough one for the Houston Texans. They need to win 3 of their next 4 games to even make the playoffs. To have a chance to make the playoffs, they need to win 3 of those next 4 games. If they lose 2, I really don't think there's any shot at the Texans making the playoffs this season. So you got to go out there week 15. You got to beat the Tennessee Titans. Week 16 up against the Browns. Joe Flacco's look good. So can you go out there and win against the Browns? That's a home game. And then you have a home game against the Titans. And then you're in Indy week 18 against the Colts. You win. That might be winner goes in. Week 18 up against the Indianapolis Colts. It's a big 4 weeks for the Houston Texans. Now, who would have thought that we would have been here at this point? Not me. If you would have told me the Texans, the last 4 weeks of the playoffs, had a shot, had a fighting chance to make the playoffs, I'd be really surprised at the beginning of the season. I'd say, you know what? CJ Stroud, he's done as good as I thought he would, which he's done a lot better than I thought he was even going to do this season. And the Texans, they're still right in there, so you got to love it. First year under DeMeco Ryans and staff, you got to love the fight. But now, why not go win the damn thing? Why not make the playoffs? The Texans, let's go. I believe in this team. I think if CJ Stroud can come back, I think if he can get on the right track and be healthy, this team has a legitimate shot to make the playoffs. And once you're in, Texans, they can make some noise. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs for the latest Texans news and rumors, the dangest NFL memes on the planet. Help us get to 8,000 subscribers. And a little birdie's telling me, if we get to 8,000 subscribers, I'm going live this Sunday for Texans Titans. You heard me right. Live watch party this Sunday. If we can get to 8,000 subscribers. I was so close to the end, Trace. So close to the end without a tongue twister. And there we go. But anyways, subscribe for the latest Texans news and rumors around the team 24/7 all year long, 365. Go down and hit that sub button.